There is a law in South Korea that if the criminal is not caught after 15 years of any crime, then the case will become invalid. In such a situation, the detective investigates the missing case of a little girl, but he is unable to catch the criminal for 15 years. Now he has only 7 days left, and after 7 days, 15 years will be completed. If a criminal is not found in these 7 days, then this case will be closed forever. So the detective and the mother of that missing girl together try their best to solve this case. So, were they successful? And like every thriller, what is that twist in the end? To know all this, you must watch the video till the end. You have to like it and also share it. So the movie begins and we show police detective Chang and his partner Sam. Both of them go to the house of a woman named Shirley where they look at some case files. What actually happened was that Shirley's daughter went missing 15 years ago. Chang investigated that case, but he could not find the criminal, and this kidnapper killed Shirley's daughter. Now after 15 years, Chang is meeting Shirley, but for so many years Shirley has collected many evidences from her side, among which there is a tape. Sham plays it. The girl's scream is heard in it. He immediately removes the tape. Now Shirley asks, "Did you find out anything in my daughter's case?" Chang becomes speechless. But the problem is that there are no solid clues in these files on the basis of which they can catch the murderer. Now Sham tells that according to the law of our country, if the criminal is not caught within 15 years of the crime, then that case will be closed without being solved. After that we cannot even catch that criminal, and only 1 week is left for your daughter's case to complete 15 years. If we do not find the murderer, then this case will also be closed. At that time they feel helpless and go away saying this to Shirley. Then Shirley cries and pleads from behind that, "Please sir, catch my daughter's murderer. You had promised that day that you will give justice to my daughter." Chang is also very sad inside. From there he comes straight to the highway where Shirley's daughter died. He sees some business there. Someone had left a bouquet at that place. He thinks that maybe the Shirley has kept the flowers in memory of her daughter. He calls the Shirley and asks her. She says that, "I have stopped going to that place. I will never go there where my daughter died." So the first question is, who kept it there? Now Chang suspects that maybe the murderer kept it there. The flowers are a little wilted, which shows that it must have been 10 or 15 hours since it was kept here. That is, someone must have kept it here at midnight. So he looks at the CCTV cameras placed there and starts checking their footage. At exactly 1:15 in the night, a man comes out of the nearby forest on the highway and walks away arrogantly. Not only this, while leaving he also looks at the camera, but his face was not clear. Now Chang feels that whoever he is challenging me, and is also saying that, "Look, I have come in the camera too, catch me and show me." Chang also accepts this challenge and he goes inside the jungle with Sham that very night. He is sure that the killer must have parked his car here and must have come on foot to the highway, and as expected, they find tire marks of the car in the jungle and they also take a photo of its pattern. Now he says that he left the car here and went on the highway. He kept flowers there and came on the same route, and from here he must have taken the car and gone to this side. Because the CCTV camera does not cover this side. That means this is a blind spot. So how was he found out now? That's challenging. It is said that his image was recorded in the CCTV at exactly 1:15. If he came back on foot and took the car and went through this route, then he must have reached this blind spot between 1:45 and 1:55. We have to find out which vehicles passed through that blind stop in these 10 minutes, especially those vehicles which have dashboard cameras installed. The dangerous car must have been recorded in the dash cam of some vehicle. Then he starts his search and finds a car in whose dash cam recording a black colored car passes at exactly 1:53, but the problem is that it does not have a license plate number. Meaning there is a possibility that it must be the car of that place. But now the problem is how to find the car without number plate? Whenever he watches that footage again and again, he sees a sticker pasted on the windshield. Then he starts searching for a car with such a sticker, and one day he sees the same car which he had seen in the CCTV footage. But now the problem is that this car has a license platform. Still, Chang gets suspicious and he verifies the tire pattern of this car with the tire pattern of the killer's car, and it matches perfectly. Not only this, the windshield of this car also has the same sticker. Now Chang looks around to find out whose car is this. Then a man quietly goes away after seeing the chain. It was raining, so he was holding an umbrella. Chang follows him, but suspect gets lost in the crowd. Then suddenly he traces suspect and chases him, but he turns out to be a watch again. Now he checks in some stores there. Then in a restaurant he sees the same man who was sitting on a table hiding his face under the pretext of reading a newspaper. Also a fallen umbrella is also kept near him. Now even though his face is worth seeing, He quickly pushes the waitress and runs away from there even though he immediately runs after him. The killer also pushes Shirley outside and runs away. Seeing Chang chasing her, Shirley understands that this is the murderer and Chang is trying to catch him, but Chang's luck is bad and the murderer quickly leaves in his car. Poor guy stands there disappointed because 15 years have passed and he has not been able to do anything till now, but Shirley says that 15 years have not been completed yet. 2 hours are still left. In that time we can trace that car by the license plate number. Now Chang tells that no, this cannot happen because that license plate number was fake. I have really failed in this case. Hearing this, Shirley becomes very sad that how will her daughter get justice now. Chang starts shouting all the evidences of the case in which there is also a drawing of the murderer. Now Shirley's voice message comes that I suspect some people, I will send you their names, you just give me their information, we will definitely be able to catch killer. But little did she knows the poor guy had given up. He ignores the message to leave. The next day the killer had chosen a small boy as his target. He starts following him but the boy also gets a little suspicious so he gets scared and stops shouting mummy mummy. The killer then follows him but in the meantime he reaches his home and the killer has to return empty-handed again. Now he will not try to kidnap this child again because he can get caught. So he fixes a new target. An old man is playing with his granddaughter happily when the phone rings inside the house. The old man keeps the phone on and the call gets cut. He is about to come out when the phone rings again. He goes to pick up the phone again but it gets disconnected. Now the old man comes out and looks but his granddaughter is not in the park. Now this old man complains to the police that his granddaughter has suddenly disappeared somewhere. The police are sitting in his house having set up cameras, call tracking systems, etc. so that if the kidnapper calls for ransom, they can trace him. And then he goes to the park again. Again a call comes. But not on his phone, he attends the call on another phone kept in there, and his grandchild's scream is heard in it. He signals to the police sitting inside that the kidnapper is calling. The kidnapper says that your granddaughter is with me. Now inside the house, the kidnapper calls the child's mother, whose name is Kim. The police then starts tracing that call. The kidnapper says give me $50,000 and I will release your daughter, but yes, if the police comes to know then you will see your son dead. Poor Kim says no, I will not tell anyone anything, please don't do anything to my daughter, but then suddenly the police officer's phone falls down and a voice comes out of it. The kidnapper understands that the police is there who is tracing his location and he immediately leaves that location. Kim faints out of fear thinking what the kidnapper will do with my child now. They come to know that Game is a heart patient and he had also undergone an operation a few years ago. Meanwhile they trace the location and reach there. And the murderer has fled from there. Then they find a cigarette piece which they keep as evidence. Here the story goes into flashback. Whenever Shirley went to tell him through a survey that it has been 15 years since your daughter's case and now nothing can be done because we are not getting any clue, but the next day Shirley goes to that restaurant from where the murderer had escaped on that rainy day. Shirley asks the restaurant owner that on that rainy day a man came here and pushed the waitress and ran away. Do you know him? He says I did not see his face, but he was sitting on that table. Shirley goes to the table and finds that man's umbrella kept there. Shirley picks it up and looks at it. There is a name of a bank on it. She goes to that bank and asks to which customers do you give such umbrellas? They say that we give it to our wide range of customers. Shirley says that can you give me their names? But they refuse that it is legal to give the information of customers to someone else. Shirley may not know the rules and laws of her country, but she definitely knows that she has the power to raise money for every illegal work. When that staff meets her alone and gives the money, then within the next 5 minutes Shirley has the list of VIPs in her hand. Shirley had called Chang that day to tell him about this, but Chang did not pick up because he was disappointed. Then Shirley sent him a voice message. By then he had given up and started burning the evidences. He heard Shirley's voice message that I suspect some people, please give me their information, but even then he ignored it. But Shirley did not give up. After all, she is a mother. The next day she started visiting the houses of all the VIP customers given in that list one by one and started inquiring. There is an old house at one address. Shirley goes inside and sees that there is a cross mark on every day in a calendar and one day with circle. That, the day on which 15 years are completed. Shirley understands that this is it, this is the house of this murderer. Then a murderer comes to the door. Shirley freezes with fear, but the murderer does not come inside, rather goes from there. But Shirley does not tell anything about this to Chang, and now in the present we show that the police wants to find this person kid as soon as possible because Kim, who is a heart patient, if the kid is not found, she may even die. Now here's the murderer driving a truck in which there is a box. It is kept locked. On the way, the murderer is walking comfortably without any tension or fear of a policeman. Suddenly, the child starts calling from inside the box. Killer immediately takes the car to a deserted road so that the police does not hear her voice. Now when the box opens, the girl tries to escape. But the murderer holds her mouth and puts tape on her mouth and closes the box. Here at home, Kim is waiting for the kidnapper's call. When the kidnapper calls, Kim says, "I want to talk to my daughter, please give her the phone." The kidnapper says that a garbage truck will come near your house in some time, check in it, you will know that your daughter is fine. Poor Kim runs towards the road and stops the garbage truck and checks the garbage bin. There is a photo of her daughter in which she is standing in a house. Kidnapper had just clicked this photo and sent it. Now Kim gets a sigh of relief that the girl is absolutely fine. Police checks the background of the photo to see if there is any clue in it. Then they understand that it matches exactly with the kidnapping pattern of Shirley's daughter 15 years ago. Immediately they meet Czech, who had handled that case. Czech tells that in Shirley's daughter's case also kidnapper had sent her daughter's photo in the garbage truck in the same way. It means that after 15 years that murderer has kidnapped again and that child's plan can also be in danger. Then he remembers that due to rain that day, the evidence collected about the kid were not completely visible. Now he checks them. Police officer asks if he will release the child if he gives money. Chang says no, we also thought the same thing 15 years ago. Shirley took the money in a bag and went to the railway station. She kept the bag at the place as it was dangerous and went away. But we were keeping an eye on that bag, then a train came and many military people came on it, and in that crowd we missed the killer, but he picked up the bag of money and kept a bag with fake notes at the same place and went away. Now the police officer asks why is he kidnapping again after 15 years by the same method? What he says, it is obvious that he is laughing at the police department that looks at them, they are not able to do anything. He is challenging the police that I will commit crime again and again, so try to catch me if you can. Now the police officer tells all these things to his senior officer who is at Kim's house. Just then Kim gets a kidnapping call. He says to keep a bag of $50,000 at the railway station this afternoon. The senior officer is shocked that he is saying exactly what he had said to Shirley. Meanwhile, Chang and Sam go to the station before the one mentioned by the kidnapper and board the train. Chang thinks that 15 years ago the killer came with the military men and he must not have come out from the main door after taking the money. He must have escaped by running through the railway track. Chang and Sam also get down from the train and wait for him on the track. Then they see that a man in military uniform is running away from there with a bag. Chang and Sam chase him. He throws the bag over the wall. Chang and Sam finally catch that man and are shocked to see his face. That was none other than Josh. They take him into custody. Now Josh tells what really happened. That day when the whole century was tracing the kidnapper's call at home, Josh suddenly disappeared from the park. Actually, the kidnapper had called Josh and said that your granddaughter is with me. Then he called Josh to a place. Josh also went near the forest where there was a shirt. When he went inside, someone closed the door of the car. After a lot of effort, the door opened. When he came out, he found a letter written in his car saying that if you want your granddaughter alive, bring the bag of money from the railway station. And says that's why I picked up that bag and ran away and threw the bag on the other side of the wall. But the police don't believe him because the cigarette piece they found near that public phone had Josh's fingerprints on it. Moreover, the voice and modulation of the calls made by the kidnapper matched Josh's voice exactly. Not only this, Josh informed the police only after a long time of his granddaughter's kidnapping. Now keeping all these things in mind, the police are sure that Josh is the kidnapper. But Chan doesn't think that Josh is the kidnapper. If he is the kidnapper and the murderer, then why did he throw the bag of money on the other side of the wall? He could have escaped with him. Not only this, he cannot kidnap again in the same manner he had done 15 years ago because he would know that this time he would be caught. That is why Josh cannot be on the kidnapping. There is something else. But the question now is, how did the cigarette with Josh's fingerprint come into that public booth? There are no fingerprints anywhere else inside that booth. This is also a thing to think about. It means the kidnapper must have used gloves. If he was in the killer, then he must have worn gloves even while smoking the cigarette. Then how can he get the fingerprints? That's why it's a mysterious question. Josh is definitely not the kidnapper or the murderer. Yes, but the murderer has done this entire setup to trap Josh. Now police says that all evidence is against Josh. Even in the photo of the kidnapped girl, the background matches exactly with the wall of Josh's old house. It means that Josh had kept the girl there. On top of that, the girl has not been found till now and the case has become very complicated. Now whether the audio of the recent calls of the kidnapper or the audio of the calls of Shirley, the daughter's murderer 15 years ago, now the audio of the recent call of the chain kidnapper and Shirley's call 15 years ago have been matched. He takes the help of a specialist to completely compare the audio of previous case, and to the surprise, specialist tells the killer might be using the same old audio tape this time, because in the new audio the murderer has made a recording while playing it, then the surrounding sounds was recorded, meaning that there is some connection between Shirley's and murderer. And knowing this, Chang goes to Shirley's house and finds Shirley there. Josh's granddaughter was there with her. Oh my god, Chang starts wondering what is the mystery. He asks Shirley, "Did you kidnap that child?" Here Shirley tells that she got the list of VIP customers from the bank. One of them was the house of the murderer. The murderer was marking in the calendar every day when 15 years would be completed and when he would live his life with certainty. She had known that this was Josh's old house. And Josh had come there and Shirley had told him she was standing ready to stab, but Josh didn't come inside. Then Shirley saw that Josh was very happy with his daughter and granddaughter. She could not bear the fact that the man who had kidnapped and murdered her daughter was so happy with his family. Then she met Josh's granddaughter. She made a plan to kidnap his granddaughter. And she was successful in it. She did this kidnapping in exactly the same way as Josh had kidnapped her daughter 15 years ago. She also recorded the voice of Josh's granddaughter and then gave that child to Josh. She took the child's photo to Josh's old house, where she took the photo of the child, which she kept in the garbage truck, and sent it to Josh's house. Then she wrote a letter for Josh asking him to bring a bag of money from the railway station and then he would meet his granddaughter. Then the cigarette was deliberately kept near the public booth so that the police would suspect him and Josh would be punished for his 15-year-old crime. Now hearing all this, Chang gets angry at Shirley that what you are doing, you are punishing Josh for his mistake by doing this. You are giving the child to me, hand her over, I will take her to her mother Kim, but Shirley requests that if the child is sent back, then the charges against Josh will be erased and he will not be punished for the murder of my daughter. At least 10 to 15 years in jail, don't serve the sentence, no, Chang, till then this girl will stay with me, please Chang. Convincing her, Chang again goes to meet Josh. He asks, why did you kidnap your own granddaughter? And Josh says that he didn't kidnap her. So Chang says, okay, you didn't kidnap her, but why did you kidnap and kill Shirley's daughter 15 years ago? Josh gets upset after hearing this. Chang says that now your daughter and granddaughter are paying for the punishment for the mistake of yours. Quietly confess your crime. I will send your granddaughter safely to her mother, this is a promise. Now Josh tells why he kidnapped Shirley's daughter 15 years ago. Josh's daughter is going for her operation. Josh needed $50,000. At that time, Josh didn't have that much money, so he kidnapped Shirley's daughter and demanded the return of $50,000. At that time, on Chang's request, Shirley kept the fake notes of $50,000 in the bag and took the bag to railway station. When Josh saw that it was fake notes, he got irritated. He calls Shirley and threatened her that if she didn't come with the real notes, forget her daughter. Shirley didn't want to take any more risk at that time, so she went to Josh with the money, at the place she was told. Josh tells to quickly cover her face with a plastic sheet, Shirley does the same. Then Josh takes her daughter in his car and comes there, but stops the car in the forest near the highway. When he tries to take Shirley's daughter she attacked Josh and starts running away from there. Josh also run behind her. The girl starts climbing a rock, but unfortunately in the dark she can't see properly. She finds herself and reaches the edge of the cliff where her foot slips and falls down onto the highway. On that time, Chang was coming in his car on Shirley's request and the girl falls directly in front of his car. Chang then hits the car on the other side. He also meets with an accident. Shirley cries bitterly while holding her daughter's dead body in her hands. Meanwhile, Josh takes out the money from Shirley's car and flew from there and goes to the hospital for operation and starts to live happily with his family. But also he regrets that he has become the reason for the death of little girl, so he used to leave bouquet in the memory of that girl on the highway, but from the same bouquet, the investigation starts again and now Josh is trapped. On the basis of Josh's recorded statement, he is sentenced to jail, then Chang returns Kim's daughter to her. On the other hand, Shirley goes near a tree in the forest and says, "Daughter, you will get justice." Saying that she was successful in getting justice, she hugs, her stomach and heart becomes a little lighter, and with this friends, the movie named Montage ends here. In this movie, it is told that if someone commits a crime then he will be punished for it. He definitely gets punishment, but where does this happens in real life? Comment below. For more videos like this in future, please like and subscribe to this page, and see you next time with another fantastic story.